If you're watching this video, or if you have found this page on a website, then I assume this means that you live in Alabama and you're facing foreclosure, and you're trying to figure out if it makes sense for you to speak with a Birmingham or an Alabama foreclosure defense attorney. And so I wanted to share with you a few thoughts about that, so that hopefully that'll help you make your decision on whether or not you want to speak with an attorney, and if you do speak with an attorney, what you're looking for. First of all, if you are facing a foreclosure, it's not yet happened, then as you speak with a foreclosure defense attorney, and that's somebody who is simply trying to advise you on what some options are to stop a foreclosure. Okay. Now, there are some attorneys, and we do this, that will help you, at least advise you on your options about after a foreclosure. But in this video, in this article, we're really focused on before the foreclosure. So one option is bankruptcy. You can file a Chapter 7 or a Chapter 13 bankruptcy, and that may stop the foreclosure. Another option is the attorney may be able to either help you write or write the letters for you to either the foreclosure lawyer or to the mortgage company, normally the mortgage servicer. And depending on the circumstances, those letters may help to stop or to force a rescheduling of the foreclosure. And that's simply because you have the right to certain information. And if you ask for that information in the right way, during the right time period, in the right manner, then that may cause either the foreclosure lawyer or the mortgage company that's doing the foreclosure to say, okay, wait a minute, we cannot get this information in time, or we better go back and double check and make sure we're right on this before we foreclose. And so that may cause them to either stop the foreclosure or to reschedule it or to postpone it. And so that is an option that I would think, if you're meeting with a foreclosure defense attorney, that lawyer should bring up to you. And it may be a bad option, maybe a good option. Bankruptcy may be a bad option, maybe a good option. But these are some of the things that I would expect that you would talk with when you meet with a foreclosure defense attorney. Another option is to look into a loan modification. Have you applied for a loan modification? Have you requested it? Have you sent in all your paperwork? Have you followed up in the right manner, the right procedure of following up? This is something that I would expect you would want to talk about with a lawyer. Now, if the mortgage company has improperly applied your payments, has maybe put bogus charges and fees, has said you're late when you're really not late, has lied to you, has violated, if they're subject to this, the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, or done other things that would be considered wrongful or illegal, then I would expect when you speak with an attorney that they would talk with you about your option of suing the mortgage company. And talk about suing the mortgage company before the foreclosure. Now, some lawyers like to do that and file a temporary restraining order and try to get the judge to stop the foreclosure. While that's certainly an option, I'll tell you, we've never done that. What we do is, if we sue the mortgage company before the foreclosure, we contact the lawyer, the foreclosure lawyer, and we say, here it is, here's our lawsuit. Now, do whatever you want to do, but understand you've been warned, and if you proceed with the foreclosure and it turns out it is wrongful, it is improper, your company's violated the law, then that will simply magnify the damages. And then that foreclosure lawyer and that mortgage company have a decision to make. In the face of being sued and there being allegations of us doing something wrong, do we want to proceed with the foreclosure? Or do we want to say, whoa, let's take a deep breath, let's think about this, let's figure out if we have the right to foreclose or not. And that's a decision they have to make. What you may also want to keep in mind about any foreclosure defense attorney that you meet with is there's been an explosion of foreclosures. There's all this publicity about foreclosures. There's the I'm filming this on, I guess, about a week, maybe 10 days after the announcement of the, and you see different numbers, $25 billion, $26 billion that will go to help consumers or go to help various states by some of the mortgage service providers and by the big banks. So there's all this publicity about this. And over the last year or so, we've seen an explosion in attorneys who at least say, hey, I'm a foreclosure defense attorney. You need to hire me. And there's one guy in Birmingham that even says that he is the most knowledgeable lawyer on Alabama wrongful foreclosures. Pretty bold statement. And if you meet with that person, you might ask, how does he know he's the most knowledgeable about this? But anyway, that's something that you can do if you happen to meet with that particular lawyer. But my point is that just because somebody says that they are a foreclosure defense attorney, or that they're an expert, or they're the world's foremost authority on this, there's one thing to say it, it's another thing to be true. So how do you figure that out? Well, do your research, do your due diligence, ask questions of this lawyer. Say, let me see some materials that you've created. Have you written a book on this? Have you made videos? Have you written on a website? Have you presented at CLEs? So those are conferences where we present to lawyers and a certain amount of hours we have to take every year. And it's continuing legal education. Has this lawyer trained other lawyers in foreclosure defense? And so you'll have to make a decision on whether any or all of that is important to you. But just understand that there are more and more lawyers now who are saying that they can help you. And that's a good thing if it's true. You have more choices. That's good. Just make sure that you choose the right law firm, the right lawyer for you. And a final thing I'll say is, a lot of lawyers that say they offer foreclosure defense, what they really mean to say is, I file bankruptcies, and that's all I do. I can file a bankruptcy to stop your foreclosure. Now, bankruptcy can be a wonderful option. It can, in the right circumstance, absolutely stop a foreclosure. That doesn't mean that it's the right choice. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. But just be aware, if you're meeting with somebody who says, I'm a foreclosure defense attorney, you might want to dig a little deeper and say, okay, can you help me on all these various options I have? Or can you only do one thing, and that is one choice, file bankruptcy? And then you can decide if you want to meet with this person or not. That may be exactly the person you need to meet with, or you may want to say, well, I want to meet with some lawyers that can give me other options. The bottom line to all this is you need to be very careful. You're in an extraordinarily dangerous position of facing foreclosure that can have drastic consequences to you, to your family, to your economic situation, to your livelihood. And so we suggest do a lot of research and ask a lot of questions and make the right choice. We've tried to give you books, videos, articles, blogs, as much information as we can to help you in that research, but ultimately the responsibility is on you to make the right choice and to talk with lawyers and find out who, if anybody, is right for you. If you'd like to talk with us and you live in Alabama, you can fill out, there should be a little contact form or button that you can fill out or click, and that'll get you to us. Or you can just pick up the phone, 205-879-2447. Thank you very much.